Man, you would not believe the headache I had today. I was at work, I had a headache, it kept getting worse, and then finally work ended, and then I had to do stuff during the day. So for example, I had to pick up some prescriptions. So I go to Walgreens. Now, by the time I made it to Walgreens, my head, when I tell you it hurt, it was like one of two times in my life when I have actually considered going to the emergency room for a headache. It was bad. I mean, I had headaches like that when I was like in the mental hospital, but like, on the town, like usually, like I get migraines, just not like that. So anyway, I was at the Walgreens anyway. So I was like, can I talk to the pharmacist? And they're like, okay. And so I was like, look, does Vyvanse cause headaches? And he's like, well, tell me what happened. And I'm like, well, you know, I started taking Vyvanse, 20 milligrams, and then they upped it to 40. And when they upped it to 40, that was when I thought, wow, I got to cut out the caffeine. And so the pharmacist goes, well, how much coffee were you drinking? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, I wasn't drinking coffee. Just I would wake up in the morning, and the first thing I would do would take a caffeine pill for 200 milligrams. And he's like, oh boy, you just stopped it? And I'm like, yeah, you think that was a bad idea? He's like, well, you can't take it at the same time as the Vyvanse, but like, did anything else happen? Like when the headaches start? And I'm like, oh, it started while I was at my job as a substitute teacher at the elementary school. He's like, oh boy, any other like, problems? And I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm diabetic and I forgot to eat lunch. Well, I forgot to pack my lunch because I have ADHD, circling back to the Vyvanse. Well, anyway, I didn't eat lunch, and I definitely am chronically dehydrated, and today was no exception. Might have been worse than usual. I've not been getting a lot of sleep because my turtle's been sick. That's going to be a whole separate video, but he's okay. I've been under extreme stress because, with the turtle and everything else, and I didn't bring any Tylenol or ibuprofen, so I had taken absolutely nothing for the headache. So the guy's like, wow. Well, fortunately, I did manage to solve the problem by correcting most of the prior, the things I just mentioned here. But yeah, I need to be more careful, I guess, because oh my gosh, when I say a splitting headache, oh man, it was terrible. So anyway, I'm glad I made it through the day. By the end of the day, I was rubbing my head a lot and saying like, gosh, I have a headache. But it didn't get like cataclysmic until I was on the bus going to run some errands. So anyway, you live and you learn.